Today literally is my birthday, and I am at sea, thanks to Celebrity Cruises, Athens, Santorini, Mykonos, Turkey, Malta, Barcelona. Those are all the places that I've traveled this week on board a solo cruise with Celebrity. So let's get into it. I don't know where to begin. I'll start with getting here. I took a flight from JFK to Athens, Greece. I think it's like 9 hours direct. There are definitely direct flights from JFK into Greece. I was flying American Airlines, and I was in the middle aisle, middle row, second last seat, right? So it was awful, needless to say, right? And you know, it was clear it was awful. The screens weren't working, the last two rows, my row and the very, very last row. I think my seat was like 33E, but going back, guess what? Guess what my seat is? 1A. Because I feel like if you could afford to do business class one way or the other, you should probably do it going back. You always want to leave somewhere better than when you got there, you know? So I felt like, why not be in the trenches now and then have like a really nice experience when I go back? Because it's like, when you're in your home city, you can kind of get ready for a long flight, you know, if you do certain things to get ready. You know, for a long flight, like melatonin or, you know, stuff like that. Not that you couldn't do that on the way back, but I just feel like on the way back, I'll enjoy the like club lounge and food and drinks and stuff. Not that they don't feed you on a flight that long in coach, but, you know, it's not the same at all. We all know that. So that's that. First thing I'll say about this cruise, this is not the first time that I've cruised Celebrity. It will not be the last time that I've cruised Celebrity. This has nothing to do with my job. I always told y'all I was going to talk about my job at one point, so I'll probably add some job related explanation to what I do in this. But this has nothing to do with work other than the fact that, you know, I have a job that could afford me to do this, and I have PTO that I could take to not be, you know, in New York right now and to be on this cruise. Okay, so yeah, the flight was terrible, but you know, it's okay. The guy in customs was actually really nice. He said happy birthday. Like, he looked at my passport and was just like, oh, okay. He kind of saw that, like, you know, it was a birthday thing. I'm the type of person, I am a tourist. I work for New York City Tourism and Conventions. So if we want to get into what I do, I am a DMO. I work in destination marketing. But one time we had a brainstorm session and they were like, is tourist a bad word? And I was like, no, I'm a tourist. Like, I'm not, some people could do that and immerse themselves into the culture of where they're traveling. Okay, how do I say this without it coming off controversial? I don't think I can afford to do that. I don't want to immerse myself into the local of a destination if I'm not sure how people who look like me are treated in that place. You understand what I'm saying? So be it Europe, Middle East, certain states in the United States, you know, and I've talked about that before. You should look into, on my job's website, before I even started working for my job, Black in the tourism industry, I'm gonna just put it out there. Even when I go to conferences, I keep my badge on even when I'm going to a bar at night. Like, I want you to know that I'm not from here because, you know, every state that has a ton of sundown towns, for some reason, always get the bid for a lot of the conferences that I go to. I'm just saying. And like, no, I kind of want you to know that I'm not from there, because I don't want you to treat me like how you would treat people like me that are from there, because I don't know how you treat people like me that aren't from here, you know? So that said, I had my selfie stick, I had my tripod, I had, you know, it was really, really obvious on this cruise that I was kind of touristy, but it wasn't obvious that I was by myself. When people asked me that, I would just say things like, oh yeah, my friends are in the room, my friends are upstairs. Never let anybody know you're alone. Never let anybody know you're alone. Even the YouTubers that like do the whole living alone diaries, I'm like, do y'all have bodyguards? Like, don't let nobody know you by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody need to know all that. But anyway, we'll get into my my opinion on cruising by yourself as we get into this video as well. But let's just get into the meat of everything. I'll have to put in the comments how much this all costs, but I'll tell you that the flight was expensive, so that's why I couldn't do business class both ways. Like, what am I, rich? You know, like, I mean, God bless you if you could do it, but I did business on the way back. Going, I did coach, which I already got into, so that saved me some money there. I did the beverage package, the premium beverage package that includes unlimited alcohol on this cruise. I wouldn't do that again, and I hardly ever do that. Not saying I ain't never do that, but I don't think it's worth it. Like, it's pretty expensive. I mean, these are things that you could probably look up. People may ask where I got my shirt from. I'll let y'all know that later too. You already know. But yeah, I got it this time because I figured, like, yeah, why not? I know I'm gonna want to have drinks and stuff like that. It's fine. I'm pretty responsible when it comes to alcohol, and I also like beverages in general. So like, the beverage package includes smoothies, sodas. I love vitamin water, regular bottles of water. You can't really get stuff like that without a beverage package. Like, you could get like water. Of course, they'll give you, like, you know, a plastic cup for ice and tap water and orange juice and cranberry juice and stuff like that, and tea and coffee. So let's not act like, you know, I had to do it, because when I do cruise again, God willing, at the end of this year, I'm going on another cruise with my daughter, Celebrity as well. And I probably, in fact, I'm like 99% sure I won't get any kind of beverage package at all. So I would say you don't have to do a beverage package, but I did, because it was my birthday. Today, literally, like I said, it's my birthday. I'm 43 to be exact. Like I said, I'll get into that later. Like, would I ever do this again? Yeah. So we started in Athens. The airport to the port for the ship is kind of far, but the Uber was maybe $40-$50, which is kind of a lot. You know, you want to give yourself a couple hours or so. Obviously, it was like an overnight flight, so I got in at like 10 a.m. local time, and I didn't have to get to the cruise ship until like 1. So even that was a little tight now. That was a little tight. I could have did a night in Athens, because I didn't think about the fact that, like, we're leaving from Athens, so we didn't really explore at port in Athens, you know, so I can't say anything about Athens, Greece. But Mykonos, I showed my ass in Mykonos. Literally, you should have seen the stories. You're welcome. No, I say that to say I had a thong bathing suit, and I have never worn a thong bathing suit before. But I said, you know what, if there's ever a time I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it on a trip by myself as an adult in Europe, whatever, who cares, right? This is what my body looked like the last time that I cruised Celebrity. And back then, I would have never done it. Now my body looked like this, and I still didn't care. I was like, listen, you're welcome. You're getting all this. And of course, you know, we're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Captain Tasso, speaking to you from the navigational bridge. And as you can understand, this is my very last announcement for this cruise. And I would like to take this opportunity and say that I hope you all found what you were looking for from this cruise. Either that was relaxation, see new destinations, and check your bucket list. Maybe you fall in love, got married, engaged, on a honeymoon, celebrated anniversaries, graduations, birthdays, retirement, or you were just on a business trip, or simply enjoy a few days of your normal routine on a relaxing, luxurious, modern and fun environment with delicious food, friendly crew, and listening to a captain making jokes all day long and doing donuts in every port and every opportunity. Well, I hope that you all had a great time, and now as the captain of the Celebrity Ascent, and on behalf of all the ship's officers, staff, crew, the executive committee, which is our hotel director Christoph, our chief engineer Yanis, staff captain Panos, and human resources director Maximo, and of course from the one and only Alexa, your cruise director. It's our turn to say a huge thank you for spending this time with us at sea and for being an incredible and fun group of people. Honestly, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on board the beautiful Celebrity Ascent. Now, wherever you're traveling to tomorrow, we wish you a safe journey and we look forward to having you back with us again soon. As you know, there's no goodbyes at Celebrity Cruises, only short breaks before your next trip on your home away from home, which is of course the Celebrity family and the beautiful Celebrity Ascent. Now, if you stay with us again next cruise, that's an excellent choice. We're going to do the exact same cruise backwards. And tomorrow, imagine the excitement of the new guests coming on. 3,500 people are excited, as you were excited a week ago. The only problem with these cruises is that they go by so fast. Even for us, it's not fun. But tomorrow, 3,500 people will come on full of excitement for a new cruise. And I need to tell you that some of you will suffer from the post-cruise syndrome. And this is, I can describe it in simple words. So some of you will find yourselves over the next few days taking a plate from your house kitchens and then roaming around the different rooms of your houses looking for food to put on. Well, that's a classic syndrome from the buffet up here. Good luck with that. Anyway, and now before I go, I would like to share with you the most popular questions I've been asked all cruise long. And I have to say a huge thank you for keeping me busy. Number one, what does it take to become a captain? Well, that's a 2 weeks online course. Believe it or not, that's what people think. Well, it's not like that. It's 4 years in college and then it's a combination of sea service and college time. It took me 15 years. And imagine, I was the fastest ever. And people were also asking me, have you ever been lost? Thanks for the trust. And the answer is yes, many times, but never on a ship. Because navigating this beautiful ship is not a one-man job. We have 12 navigators and we all make sure we all do the job properly and we go from point A to point B, most importantly, safely. And also people ask me, this is for my first time cruises, why do I have to close the toilet lid before I can flush the toilet? Well, probably they haven't seen a toilet on a ship before. And because our toilet system works with a vacuum, and it's a very strong vacuum, we made sure that you close the lid first and then you flush, so we can avoid being seated and flushing at the same time. The last time a guest managed to do that, we found them in Santorini. So in order to avoid the unexpected teleportations, we made sure that you close the lid first and then you flush. Now, some other guests, they were raving about me. They say, you're the best captain we've ever, the best captain ever. They were all first-time cruisers, but still, a compliment, it's a compliment, I take it. And last, people were asking how we're going to know on which ship and when you're going to be next. Hopefully because you want to cruise with me again and not to avoid me. But either way, Celebrity Ascent is where I call home. Next cruise is my last cruise before I go on vacation and then my brother takes over. So I will do that once again. And the best way to always know which ship I'm on is if you follow me on social media, and many of you are already doing it. It's on Instagram, Travel with Captain Tassos. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. For the last time, that was your captain, Captain Tassos, and it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to be your designated driver for this cruise. Thank you, God bless you, and see you again soon.
Yes, Captain, yes. And I'm keeping this in because why not? Because obviously with my attention span, I'm putting images of the whole week in while he was speaking. But I loved our captain. He was funny. He was great. Okay, so let's do this. Let's talk about the whole Royal Caribbean brand, right? Because it's very Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic-ish, right? The Silver Sea is more like Banana Republic. this is the Gap. Royal Caribbean, no shade at all, is Old Navy. And the reason why I say no shade is because it's actually a compliment. Like, you know when you go to Old Navy with your family and you could all get those like matching t-shirts for like, I don't know, the 4th of July and stuff like that? Like, Royal Caribbean is better for families. Royal Caribbean is definitely more family focused. I wouldn't say that this cruise ship wasn't family friendly, but it definitely wasn't family focused. Like, the kids were literally in the basement. The teens are literally in a club called The Basement, almost as low as where the staff is. Like, no windows, nothing. Like, I wouldn't cruise with my kid necessarily with Celebrity. I would probably do Royal Caribbean. I want to try Virgin next. I think for a solo cruise, that would have been really fun because it's adults. This was fun. You know, this was fun too. But definitely a lot of couples, family. You know, there was times where I was very lonely. Today's my birthday, so obviously I was crying. I'm a Cancer. I love water. I'm a Cancer. I'm emotional. So, like, there were times on this cruise that I was, like, crying tears of joy because I was just so happy that I was blessed to be able to knock some major destinations off of my bucket list all in one week. And then there were times like today or like a couple nights ago where we weren't at any port and I was just kind of like dining by myself for like the 5th time. And I was just like, be nice to be here with like a dude or my kid or my friends or all of them. So like I missed everybody. I didn't do an internet package, going back to like what I felt was worth the money or not. I think because we stopped at so many ports, I was comfortable with just waiting until I got somewhere to, you know, text or update things on social media. But those that know me know I'm always on my phone. I'm always on my phone. People think I'm working when I'm in my phone. Yes and no. Like, I might be working, but I'm usually like on social media. So to spend my actual birthday so completely isolated, knowing I've been isolated this whole week, I don't think I would do this again. I would solo cruise again. Yes. I would solo travel again. Yes. I would solo birthday again. Yes. I've actually technically done all of those things before. I had a solo birthday one time in North Carolina, but it was just for a weekend. And it was North Carolina, so I could still text, I could still talk to people. I've done solo traveling, I guess, and solo cruising for work, kind of, but your colleagues are there. So like I've been everywhere from, you know, I don't know, Korea to I don't know, Sydney, Australia, but for work, you know, so it is different. Anyway, yeah, back to work. My job, I'm not a content creator, so that's why my content isn't that great. My job, if anything, we work with content creators and bring them into New York City. So I do destination marketing. The destination that I market is my city, New York. So it is a blessing to work for a DMO period, let alone a DMO from your hometown, because basically you're just telling everybody why New York is awesome and great. I have a big appreciation for cruise ship people, for restaurant people, for tour guides, for anyone that works in hospitality, because I basically do too. So I say that to say what I loved about this cruise is that they, you know, every night they give you your little guide of the next day. Let me tell you what they don't do. They don't put like little towels of like the stuffed animal shape. That ain't gonna be here. Like I said, it's not really family focused. It's not really kid focused or big kid focused. There is no water slide on this ship. There is no like, you know, a deck that looks like a carnival or an amusement park or the boardwalk in Coney Island. There's none of that type of stuff. I don't know if I can curse on here. So yeah, I mean, there's adult stuff. There's a casino, there's restaurants. There's a lot of fine dining options that I thought was really nice. Tonight I'm gonna do one. Obviously it's the B-Day. I figured I'd do at least one purchase of that. Otherwise, the included restaurants, they're okay. They're okay. I mean, it's what to expect on a cruise ship. It wasn't like all that, but the food was really, really good. The service low-key wasn't all that. I've had better service on cruise ships before. Like I said, maybe it's because they're not like super family friendly that they weren't super friendly. Maybe because I was by myself, it was a little different. I was surprised that nobody like at all this whole week stopped to take a professional photo of me. Not when I got on, not the formal dining night, not like the entire time. And I told you, I'm a tourist. Like I had my whole freaking same selfie stick I'm using for the recording of this. I was like carrying that around, wearing dresses, wearing outfits, trying to capture moments by myself because I was by myself. So I think when you're by yourself, that's a fun tip. Like bring something like a tripod or something where you could just like take your own pictures. I'm not saying I would expect them to like take pictures for me, but I am very surprised that none of the professional photographers asked to take a picture of me. Because why wouldn't you? I'm by myself. Like I could see if I was with other people, yes, that's a great way to capture. But I also think a lot of the staff, I don't think they knew. You know, like it was given bodega almost, like as some of the lines, like bodega meaning like not friendly, but just to the point, you know, like heavy accents and just like, oh wait, what do you want? As opposed to like really, really hospitable greeting. So I'm gonna chalk it up and say maybe they knew. The first day, the beds were made with these cute pillows, right? They never put these pillows back on the bed, never. They took care of cleaning the room, which is a decent sized room. I could give you a little, I guess, visual of that. Okay, now that that's done, I didn't like that this obstructed my view, but I do like that I kind of had this like floor to ceiling window situation. I probably would have splurged for a real balcony next time though, because every time we went to port, it was so breathtaking. My most favorite part about this trip has been landing at port. So anyway, let's go back to all the places, right? Santorini, yes, I showed my ass. In Santorini, I did 2 excursions during this trip. One was Santorini because what I wanted to originally do was do like the flying dress thing because I like, you know, the sculptures of the buildings and the mountains and all that, but I didn't do that. I just did like a yacht thing, and that was really fun. It included food, so it was nice eating like Greek food and, you know, enjoying that experience. The water is so blue to be able to like even dip your toes into the Mediterranean. Look how blue the water is, you know, in the world, period. But particularly there, it was wonderful. What else? Oh, after that, because it was very early in the day. Like what I like about booking the excursions, and I would never not do that again, is that it kind of forces you out. Like if I didn't pay for excursions, I wouldn't have been in as immediate of a hurry to get off the boat. I know me, I'm lazy. If it's me by myself, I'm gonna say, oh, okay, if we're gonna be here until say 4 p.m., maybe I'll roll out of bed or roll off the boat at like 1 p.m. No, that's not how you do it. You wanna get out at like 8 a.m. the earliest, you know, possible time that you can get off. And that was what I did. So once we did the yacht thing, which was really fun, really cool. Shout out to Shorty that took all the pictures of me. There was this beautiful, it's always a beautiful young woman and her man that she saw that I was like trying to take a bunch of pictures, you know, for the gram. And she was like, you want me to just do it? And she's like, yes. So yeah, I took those pictures and I really value them. Probably not gonna post them. If you missed my stories, you missed my stories, right? But it's just for me, you know, and I enjoyed that. And then after that, when we went back to like the mainland or whatever, then I took a cable car, which was €10 each way. I think for locals, it's only like $2, which is fine, I get it. Cause like the whole city is like in the mountains. So like, you know, that's like them taking the bus. But for us, it was like, wow, this is great. So you're taking like the cable car thingy up to the mountains to kind of be into town. And then when you're in town, of course, you know, there's lots of shops and stuff. So I got, you know, souvenirs, or there's places you could eat. I didn't eat in Santorini when we stopped because I had already ate lunch with the excursion. And then also, I'm gonna wait till I get back on the boat, eat for free. but you know, you should eat locally if you can. So that's another reason why I did the excursion, because it included food. But I wasn't like hungry anyways. I was thirsty. I should have brought an extra bottle of water off of the boat, because again, the beverage package, you could do the middle level. That's probably what I would do. I wouldn't do the premium with all the open bar of alcohol, but maybe the middle level that would still include like sodas and vitamin waters and bottles of water, because it was hot. Okay, it was hot. Like, make sure you know, take care of yourself. I actually, right before I had left, bought a bunch of skincare products and stuff, and one thing that I bought was like a finishing spray after I do my makeup that has SPF 50, which I thought was pretty cool, but it only like, it wears off after like 40 minutes or so or whatever. So I don't know, probably use that a lot more throughout the summer because I think it makes sense. It's really good setting for your makeup, but even if you don't have on any makeup, just spray it on your face. You know, the SPF benefit of it, right? So I have no script. So as you see, I'm just talking and talking and talking. So yeah, Santorini, I ain't had on enough clothes to go into the church. So I was there on a Sunday and I thought about that and I was just like, oh, it would have been really nice, but that's okay. We'll get to Virgin Mary House a little later on in the week. So it's not like I didn't have those moments, but Santorini wasn't time for that moment. So anyway, after Santorini was Mykonos. Mykonos was beautiful too. I mean, each stop got more and more busy as far as like the population, and I guess as far as like how busy they are at port for tourists. So I say that to say, like, you know, they definitely gonna sell you stuff. They definitely gonna want you to buy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think, did I do any particular activity when I was at Mykonos? No, I didn't book an excursion. That day was more of like a beach kind of day. So I remember doing that. There was a blue and white placemat that was like ashore, and I should find it and like show y'all, but I like pulled it from the water and I kept that as like a souvenir because I think it like flew off of like one of the restaurants that was near the beach, which was really funny because there it was very, very, very windy. I enjoyed even just taking the little ferry thingy that kind of tugs you from your big ship to, you know, port, and that in itself was really fun and breathtaking and beautiful, beautiful every time we landed. And I opened this because I really like how this kind of does its own thing, you know, by the push of a button. Every time I pulled this up, we actually docked somewhere and I like saw how beautiful it was, I was just like, this is beautiful. So it goes back to like the tears of joy. When I would get back on the boat, we'd have lots of fun. We, meaning the other like 3,000 people that are here, you know, whether it's like just listening to live music, they had theater, they had all this stuff that you would want. But every time that I came back in, I was just like, wow, that was really beautiful. I'm so glad I was able to do that. So that was where the tears of joy hit. The tears of sadness was more so boredom, because like the days where you're at sea, it's like I'm by myself. So like, and not just by yourself, like you don't have anybody with you, but really, really remote. Cause it's like, I'm too cheap to do the internet package thing. So like I didn't have any Wi-Fi. Hold on. Come in. I thought that was the door. I don't know. I'm only doing this. Come in. We'll be back. Sorry, I'm back. That was my room attendant, Pretam. He's cool. What was I talking about? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, I was happy when I was at port. I was a little sad and bored when I was by myself. Nobody wants to like solo dine, especially for their birthday alone, because today, like I said, is my birthday and it's at sea. So it's just kind of like, I don't really have nothing else to do but this. Like, what am I gonna do? Play bingo by myself and with these people? Like, no, not doing that. That's just not who I am. It would feel too much like work if I had to like talk to all of these wonderful, delightful international guests on this boat. Don't feel like doing it. Miss Wilson will just enjoy this and y'all. Yeah, everywhere was Miss Wilson, because you know Shaniqua is a unique name in other places. I'll just say in other places. Shaniqua Renee Wilson is a very African American name in America. But I guess in other countries, they're like, oh, that's very unique, and you know, that's great. And I'm like, all right. I went to the shops on the boat. I bought a gently pre-loved Louis Vuitton bag, because that's just who I am. That's what I do. Shout out to Alex, who was my leather expert. That was pretty cool. It was a good price. I think $1,600. That's not, to me, that bad. Tax-free, duty-free. It's a good size, you know, it's over there. I should do a 360 at a room, but I think I'll put in video, and of course on other forms of social media, a recap of like the room and stuff. But it's a good size stateroom, I will say that. A good size stateroom. And yeah, everything was okay. I mean, they did the typical stuff that you do on a cruise ship. You know, you got your aerobics in the morning, your aqua aerobics, you got your big gym, you got, you know, the buffet food places and then the formal dining places. I like formal dining, but I also feel like after a few days, formal dining for dinner by yourself is kind of like, you know, I was over it after a while. But the food was really good. And you know, on a cruise, you know, you can get 2 entrees if you wanted to, or 2 appetizers if you wanted to. So that's kind of good. You know, the big back in me was just like, yes, maybe I'll do 2 dinners tonight, you know. But believe it or not, I actually did not go as hard as I wanted to. I cannot eat or drink as much as I used to, which I guess is a good thing. But for a cruise, it's just kind of like, damn. Anyway, I have written down the places. So yeah, Santorini was beautiful. Mykonos was beautiful. But like I said, Mykonos, I just did the beach. Ephesus, Ephesus, that's in Turkey. That's where we went. You know what's funny? I don't know, like it don't seem safe to travel to the Middle East right now, but like I literally was like, I didn't even think about it like that. I don't know. Anyway, Turkey is technically in Asia. That's what my guide told me. You know, I had to get a guide, child. That's what I put in my stories. I was like, shout out to Viator, because I had to book a last minute thing, because we had a full day there. So I was just like, okay, what am I gonna do? Again, when you book an excursion, I think booking in advance makes sense. I think booking with an OTA, an online travel agency, makes sense. Booking with the cruise directly is safe and makes sense too. Just do it. Just spend the money to do it. I mean, my Turkey, I had a private guide. It was just me and her. It was so cool seeing, you know, my African American name just right there on the sign of like Shaniqua Wilson. And I'm like, here I am. And it's like, oh, just you? Because it's $15 per person, but Viator has a 2-person minimum. So I technically booked for 2 people. But it was only $15. So for $30, it included lunch. It included her, the guide. It included, you know, the transportation. It didn't include the stuff that we ended up stopping at. We went to Virgin Mary House, which, you know, is as told the last home of the Virgin Mary. So I was able to tour inside there. You couldn't take photos inside there, but right outside of it, there were fountains of holy water. So that meant a lot for me to experience. Where else did we go? There was some other land that would have cost €40 for me to do. And I was like, we could skip that. But I wanted to do Virgin Mary House. I think that was only €15 for me to go in there. Hear all of that from my guide, because I think it was meant to be a small group tour, but like nobody else booked it but me. So I'm not gonna cap like I booked a private escort or a private escorted tour, but like it was just me and her. So I had time to like ask questions, and it was a really good time to not have to carry my big selfie stick, because she took pictures of me, pictures with me even. She was really sweet. Private fashion show, I was front and center too. It was like this leather house. The leather, such good quality. I mean, you could smell it as soon as you walked in behind the scenes. I had some Turkish tea. The leather, very real. The designer handbags, very not, but that's okay. You know, it's like a high-end like Canal Street or something. And some people really are into that. So for some people, they would have probably bought some stuff. For me, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I did like the next stop, which was a market where we had samples of like desserts and stuff that are popular in Turkey. And I tried samples of extra virgin olive oil. I tried some more tea. All of that was free. But of course, you know, they want you to buy. So I did end up buying some oil because I was like, why not? Where else did we go? I think that's it. And like I said, every time you went to port, it was bigger and bigger and bigger when it came to the size of the city and the size of like, you know, going back to tourist being a good or a bad word, the tourist trap of it all, right? Because like the dude is like, oh, you want to see a trick? You want to see a trick? And he did some trick with some ice cream that wasn't even really like American ice cream. You know, it didn't taste lactosey and it was small. So it's like I paid €9 for a trick. You can even hear in the video when I put it in my stories, I was like, oh boy, because he kind of like just was like, hey. You know, I stand out. So, you know, and I didn't want that experience. I get enough of that at home. It's like kind of like walking through Times Square. Like, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? Unless you're on vacation. And even being on vacation, I personally, being from New York and destinations that are very popular with tourism, I want a vacation from that type of stuff. So like personally, I didn't really like the OD haggling of like trying to sell me souvenirs and stuff. It's not like I'm not gonna buy stuff, you know. It's just that it's a lot. Like I could have did without that ice cream. I ended up throwing it away, literally. Like I don't even like ice cream that much. But anyway, that was near the port where we were at in Ephesus, Turkey. So yeah, shout out to Ice Cream Guy, but like don't do that for me ever again. I could do without that. But beautiful city. It kind of reminded me of like Hollywood. You know, they had the hills and the, you know, the name of the city and the hills and all this stuff. It was really cute. I really liked it. Okay, next we were the following day at sea, and I did get a massage on board. It's half price when you are at port. So I did it actually the day that we were in Malta. Like I went to the beach, spent an hour there, came back on board, got a massage. It was $169 and that was at the 50% off. I don't think it's worth the full price at all. It was mid. Sorry. Again, I didn't think the service here was that great. Like I was like, oh, okay, it's at 6:30. What time should I come? Oh, you could just come 5 minutes before your service. I'm like, okay. But if she would have told me to come earlier, I would have had more time in like the relaxation room. Then I saw on the TV screen when I was bored that like there's a sauna, there's a steam room. I didn't see any of that stuff because she told me to just come 5 minutes before my book time. So again, I just, they should probably read that book Fish. I don't know if I could pop that in here, but again, we all work in the same field. So Fish and like Disney, there's a Walt Disney book on hospitality of like just how to be great, just how to be great. They not great. They're okay, but they could be a little better. The massage itself was okay. It was cool. She talked a lot. I don't really like people that talk a lot during the massage, but it was fine. It was fine. It just wasn't great. It was a head to toe massage. It was all right. Okay, so then also when we were at sea, I went to the theater and I saw one of the shows. Again, it was all right. Yup. All right, you know, it was all right. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. I enjoyed the tea on board. That was cool. That was all right. That was good. And then the last port was Malta. I really liked Malta. That was my second pre-booked excursion. So in total, I did 3 excursions. One in Santorini, which was the yacht thing, including lunch. Of all the 3, that was the best. The second one was with the guide that I just mentioned, who took me around Turkey. That was definitely the best value, because even at double the price of $15, $30, that's the cost of the food and the gas. Oh, and also what they did there is they showed you how Turkish rugs were made. I liked that. I just thought that was a really good experience. So that's my second favorite. And the third favorite was the one we did in Malta, which was a blue grotto cruise, which sounds so sexy that of course I was like, let me put on a cute little bathing suit again. But no, it's not really like that. It was like a small paddle wheel boat thing, but it was breathtaking. Oh my goodness. So you sit maybe 8 in this tiny boat, you have on your life vest thing, and they're paddling you around the grotto. When I think of grotto though, I thought it was some grown and sexy, like we was gonna swim in there or something like that. It wasn't really like that. You could swim in there. There were people that were swimming in that water, but not us. The waters were kind of choppy. I thought that was interesting because I was just like, oh, we don't fall over. And he was like, no, stand up, stand up, stand up. Good picture, good picture. Like he was telling us where to take good pictures of different stuff. So I hope I did it justice in showing like all the cool stuff. I kind of want to bring this back up. So that was cool. Then after the boat thing, which was only 20 minutes, and let me get into the price of those excursions. The first excursion, the yacht and lunch, was $116. This one was around the same price, but we didn't get no food, and the thing was like 20 minutes. So I still ended up eating while I was by the harbor, because afterwards she still showed us around, the tour guide lady on the bus. The bus was like really big panoramic windows and stuff, so a lot of the video that I captured was right on the bus, AC, because it was very hot, so that was great. And then what else? Oh yeah, they took us to places to buy more stuff. So yeah, that's what I did. Bought some souvenirs, and I had some really good fresh fish. Of course I did. That's it. Okay, and then when we got back on the boat, I wanted to go to the club. I'm going to the club tonight. Knock on wood. My brain. That I don't fall asleep, because last night I overslept, and I did meet a couple of cool friends. This is a great environment and opportunity to make friends and to meet people, especially doing the excursions, because you're in small groups. So, you know, shorty that took the pictures of me the first day, that could have been my buddy. Or when I did get back on the boat, I was at the bar with this guy and his partner, and we were talking about, I don't know, like Beyonce and it being cancer season, because it was his birthday a couple of days before mine. So like, you definitely can make friends. I'm just not OD friendly. Like I am, but sometimes I'm moody. If you know me, if you know Cancer, sometimes we want to be in our shell a little bit. So that said, it was fine, not being around people, but I don't think I would do this again. If I were to ever do a solo cruise again, I would probably want to do like a Virgin cruise for like a weekend, 3-4 days, that's enough. Or like, I'd love to do like a FUBU cruise, if you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like a Greek cruise, or like Greek, like, Greek cruise, or like Tom Joyner or something like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like with my folks, I wouldn't be doing no carnival with a fan band. Where the fans at? I don't, I don't love that song, but I also feel like, why would you ban it? Like, really? Maybe the fans was just getting in people's way, child, hitting people. I don't know, whatever. I don't get into all that. But for Carnival to act like that, it's like that time when Spirit was acting funny. Like, your Spirit Airlines, like, shut up. Like, Carnival, stop, okay? Let these people have fun. But yeah, anyway, back to Celebrity. I would do Celebrity again. I thought it was cool. I thought it was nice. I will do Celebrity again. What I did like, when I went downstairs to the future trips, because I had already booked my second trip, I was like, I already booked it, but can you do something for me? Because, I didn't realize that I could have got, onboard credit, blah, 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 blah. So they kind of like reversed it, and I have an onboard credit for my next one, which will be through New Year's Eve. I've done that before, and I look forward to that. I really like cruising with my daughter. I like doing anything with her. She's great, so I'll do that. I really like cruising with my friends. I've never cruised with like, a date. That would be kind of cool. I've been on a vacation. an all-inclusive vacation before. So I would think that would be similar to a cruise with a, significant other. I think that would be kind of cool. Cause yeah, I think a cruise is good for like couples, families. Solo, like I said, there were some times where I was like, no. And then there were some times where I was like, this is great. So like one thing I will say though is like I said, you could check off so many different stops in your bucket list of countries that you want to go to. So I've done a lot of Europe, again, mainly through work. Europe and Asia are really popular for like inbound tourism, to New York. So like professionally, I've been to these places, but personally, it was really nice to explore a lot more and actually have time. Next, I would love to explore Africa, not necessarily on a cruise. I would want to do that with friends. What else would I want to do? I don't know. I guess whatever, I just really like life. You have to really love yourself also to do solo cruising. To do solo anything for consecutive days, especially without any like onboard Wi-Fi, yeah, you have to make friends or enjoy the company of yourself. So if you think you could do that, let me know. Put in the comments if you've ever done a solo cruise or would you ever do a solo cruise. If you have any questions about my cruise, let me know. But all in all, I had a great time. We dock tomorrow in Barcelona. So I'm thinking ahead. I'm knocking on wood. I don't want to like predict the future, but I think I'm going to have a great couple of days in Barcelona. And my flight back to JFK from Barcelona is business class. I told you, seat 1A. So I'll probably share on social media what it was like in Barcelona. I'm sure that'll be really interesting as well. So that's it. And I'm really blessed and thankful that I was able to do this. And I'm really blessed and thankful that you were able to listen. So if you have any questions, let me know. But hopefully if you watch this, you can kind of hear from me what I thought. Bye. Thank you so much for staying in tune this whole time and watching. This was a dream trip. Definitely follow me on Instagram. That's where I post most of my stuff. But again, please subscribe, please like, comment, and ask me any questions. It was great.